Record. Okay, guys and girls, welcome to tonight's Eagle podcast. We're joined by the very impressive, high levels, Charlotte Welton, the Kettlebell Queen. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm amazing. Thanks very much for coming on the show.
Welcome.
Let's just get straight into it. Kettlebell Fitness, representing Nova in all the competitions that you're doing. How's it going for you?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's been a very hectic few months since I started, but I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah, I really love it. It's such an amazing sport. Really, it's so inclusive, and I've got the family involved. You know, it's just I love it. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
What would you say the key benefits for anyone doing kettlebells compared to sort of conventional weight training?
I suppose there's so many. Where do I begin? I suppose from my the benefits for me are that it's a sport that you can do anywhere. It's totally flexible. All you need is a very small space and 2 kettlebells, and so it's really flexible in that respect. But it's also really so anybody can try it at any age. The only kind of a bit differentiator is the size of the bells. So it's so accessible for people. I mean, my kids do it with me, so it means that I'm getting that quality time with them as well. So it's not just about the fitness element, it's about that social and family element as well. So I get quality time. So Lola, who's 10, she started lifting with 4s, and now is lifting with 8s.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes 10s. Millie, so she's got two 10 kilo kettlebells above her head. Millie, who's 13, started on the 6s and is now lifting with the 14s sometimes. So excuse me, my dog's just coming.
Oh, that's okay.
So I'm just out of the way, out of the rest of the family. But so it's so accessible to all. We've got such a wide range of people. So for me, fitness-wise as well, you start with a base level, and you develop your aerobic fitness, but you also develop your strength. So it's about strength, endurance, and power endurance as well too. So it really covers all the bases. You're using your legs, you're using your core, you're using your upper body. You've got to be flexible. It hits all of the different components of fitness. And it's a great one, like I say, because anybody can try it anywhere.
I know that's a fair point. And what I see, especially coming out of the Nova gym, is it looks like it's more than just a gym. It's like kettlebells looks like a community to me. It looks like you're building something than just sort of a membership. And I think people are really getting a lot from that sort of extra encouragement, aren't they, and the positivity of doing the sport.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is. And I think, fair play, hats off to Steve really and to Simon for kind of building that online community as well. So it's not just sort of the local community, but it's an online, and it's a sort of, across the UK community as well through the Facebook group. But yeah, definitely, it is a community. It's really friendly, and there's no egos. So it's a very open and welcoming community. So the competitions and things that we'll be doing over the summer, we've got one at the gym in May, which is a grassroots competition, and then there's a bigger one in July, which is actually a nationwide competition that Steve's hosting.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
And yeah, it is, and the community, because I suppose it's seen as a kind of niche sport.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only niche because not a lot of people know about it, and like I say, it's so accessible, and it's that community element comes, I think, from the different ages and different backgrounds that people that do it, because it is so accessible and so friendly. But yes, it is very much about that community, and there's no barriers to entry.
That's something special, isn't it? Especially in the age now of sort of all the big sort of super corporate gyms opening up and offering membership for peanuts. I always sort of think, put a sort of price on your health, and obviously knowing you a long time and stuff, I can see the change in you from when you used to work at the other place now. you know, you're always sort of really cardio fit now, but as well strength wise. When I've watched the videos of you lifting some of them kettles, I think, wow, you've come on, haven't you? Such a quick way, but you are super dedicated to what you do. So obviously that helps. But who in the Two Nova gym is making sort of big strides? Who have you seen, you know, who've maybe come from a corporate gym and we're looking for something a bit different? What is it about Two Nova and the kettlebell sort of community that gets people going?
I think because it's so, and I keep going back to it, because it's so accessible and inclusive, and because there aren't those egos around, and because everyone's so passionate about it, that really is, it's really contagious. And so, you know, so people can come along and they can try it, and, you know, they can try before they buy, they can come and try it, but it is totally different to your corporate gyms. And I think nowadays the big corporate gyms, you kind of get lost in there, you're just a number. And you know, it's, then you go in and if you don't know what you're doing, it's really difficult in a big corporate gym, because you do end up losing that motivation. But when you're with the kettlebell team and the training that we do, you know, everyone encourages each other and everybody motivates each other. So it's kind of, it's like the other end of the scale to a big corporate gym. It really is, you know, when you kind of, they're a bit soulless, those places, I find.
No, it's 100% agree with you. For them big gyms, it's about the sell, isn't it? It's about getting people in the door, and once you're in, then go and get lost. And there's no accountability, is there, in a big gym? Do you know what I mean? And I think more and more people now are paying the extra money for personal trainers and coaches, because you have to be held accountable, don't you? Every week you have to be held accountable if you want to see real change. Absolutely. It's important. What's involved in a kettlebell workout, and how long would it go on for?
It varies. So in our sessions in the gym, for the family ones are 45 minutes, but for the adult ones it's about an hour. And it varies really. So it's within that you've got your warm-up, and then you've got your main session. And with the family ones, they're a lot more, Steve and Simon run the family ones very much, it's about having fun as well. So it's hard work, and they're teaching them the different lifts, but intertwined with that there is that element of fun, and you've got to keep it varied, and you've got to keep changing it up, because you've got to keep the kids' attention as well. Hard, and it's and then for the adults, again, everybody has their own programs now. So
cool.
So they kind of follow a structure, so that they can make sure that they're getting the most out of each of the lifts that they're training for, because there's 3 main lifts. You've got jerk, snatch, and long cycle, and people do all 3, and some people just focus on one. It really depends on the individual. So Steve and Simon cycle the training to make sure that everybody's getting the most out of that. So it involves, it's like I say, it's a strength endurance sport. You know, you're lifting a heavy weight for, you know, in grassroots it's 5 minutes, which are the comps that anyone can do. But then when you're on the international stage, and when you're at the national competitions, they're for 10 minutes. Wow. So when I go to Germany in May, that's going to be that'll be a 10-minute competition. So I'll be doing 10 minutes of jerk, and then a few hours rest, 10 minutes of snatch, a few hours rest, and then a 10 minutes of long cycle. So I'm lifting tough. 32 kilos, for 10 minutes. It's kind of, it is tough. It is.
When you go to Germany, where in Germany are you going, and how many of the sort of countries are going to be represented? What's the sort of turnout?
So, oh gosh, no, I'm not sure on exact numbers, but that's the European Championships. And we're going to Stolberg. It's a tiny little town. It's about half the size in the middle in Germany. It's about an hour from Dusseldorf. So I think it's it's about an hour west of Dusseldorf, I think.
Oh, right, cool.
So it's a tiny town. So that's Europeans, and from England, I mean, there's myself, Steve, Simon, Joe, going to that one from Darlington.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's the 4 of us going down from Darlington.
Oh, you'll have a great trip.
Representing England, and then there'll be other. Yeah, it will be good. It's right at the end of May, and then there's quite a few other lifters as well going. The thing is, there's lots of different governing bodies. There's lots of different. It's a bit like you know, in boxing, you've got loads of different bodies, haven't you, with different belts. And it's the same in kettlebell sport. I think there's 3 or 4. I'm fairly new to it, as you know, but I think there's about 3 or 4 different bodies. So the one that we're going to, not all of the lifters will go to that one on the England team. And the other thing is that it's not, we're not professionals, so it's all self-funded.
Oh, wow, yeah, here we go, for self-funded.
Yeah, so we've got to pay for all our own kit, all our own flights, everything. So we are looking for sponsorship again, so to help with that, because obviously it does start to add up.
Yeah, massively, yeah. And who are you looking to sponsor? Local Darlington business people or North East or?
Yeah. Whoever, I mean, whoever's up for helping out, really. But local Darlington, whoever's got the cash. But local Darlington businesses, I think, when they went out to, before I was on the team, they went out to South Korea, and they got a couple of Darlington businesses sponsoring them.
Oh, that's cool.
Just to help out, with the cost of the flights and things. So
yeah, that's good. It sounds like it's going to be a good trip. I wanted to touch on your self-employed status and sort of how that's how's it been, how's the journey been? I'm sort of almost on the door of going there now, and I'm really, really excited. But obviously with you switching to Two Nova and your sort of personal PT and your brand, and your brand looks excellent, by the way, all your website and all your social media, you know, you can tell it's really, really good. How's that been, sort of being, you know, a moment, being in self-employed and working in the gym, and how do you manage to do all 3 so well?
I'm a really good juggler. I go at the circus and I just learned to juggle. Yeah, it's hard. It's as you know, I didn't go into being self-employed. I didn't kind of wake up one morning and go, I want to work, and I want to go and go self-employed. My hand was forced when the fitness centre closed. So, and loads of people kept saying to me before it closed, you should do it on your own. And I was always really scared because, as you know, I've always been employed. Someone's always been there paying my salary at the end of the day. And so it's been, it's almost a year. It's actually a year at the end of this April. That I've been self-employed, and it's been a real roller coaster. I think we touched upon it last time I saw you, and it's very it's a really tough industry to be in, because you do feel like people are judging you all the time, because, you know, just because of the nature of the industry, and you're having to kind of be at the beck and call of your clients and of, I suppose, when people want to train. And it's quite difficult for me because I'm obviously a mum as well. But it's been on the flip side, it's also really rewarding, and I love what I do. And so that makes it all completely worthwhile. And I think being self-employed means that you actually can call the shots. Yeah. If you're brave enough to do that. But I think what I've learned particularly over the last sort of 3 or 4 months, is that not to be scared to run it as your own business, as you want to run it. And just because somebody wants a session at a certain time, or, you know, other people are running sessions at peak times, I don't want to do that, and I need to make this work for me. And I think so. And so you have to run it, and you have to call the shots. And I think I spent a number of months thinking, I should do it like this because everyone else is doing it. And actually, do you know what? No, it's my business. You only live once. You only get one shot at this, and I'm going to run it how I want and need to run it. Yeah, that's a very, very brave and honest thing to do. And I think you built a very loyal sort of clientele, didn't you, from the fitness centre, and a lot of them followed you over, and I always, you know, you've got sort of a super core following, haven't you, that like and share and comment a lot of your stuff, and it's but everyone needs that, do you know what I mean? And when you're in this sort of line of work, people who are employed, you know, sometimes, and they're not doing it because they just don't know, because they're not in the game like this, where it's so important, especially with social media, that you need people to be liking and sharing your stuff, to get it out there, really, which ultimately pays the bills. And that sort of leads me on to social media. Let's dive straight in, especially within the fitness industry. What do you think, especially with Instagram as well? I feel like there's a lot of people out there that promoting the wrong type of body image,
for sort of, especially for women and young girls? What's your sort of take on it?
Yeah, it's I think as a mother as well, and as a woman, Instagram can be, quite a dangerous place in terms of the false images that it portrays. And for me, for my girls, and for me as well, growing up, you see these really these unrealistic images of people. These people are paid to look like that. They have meal plans set out for them. They train 5-6 times a week. It's not real life. And I think that's it can be quite dangerous, especially for young girls these days. And I think you have to be quite savvy and really try and educate them and yourself as well, because we can get carried away with it. You switch on Instagram or Facebook and you're looking on it and you're like, you might be having a bit of a crap day and you're like, oh God, and look at them, they have an amazing life, and look at their body, and you fall into this comparison trap, and it can be quite dangerous. But I think it's just about being savvy about it and educating yourself, and educating my girls to go, right, that's not real. This is real life. This is what actually does go on. This is what people really look like. And looking at other images that perhaps aren't what are portrayed to be amazing, like the perfect, and actually there's lots of people, look at everyday life, look down the street. That's what people look like. Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just educating and staying savvy with it, really, because I think it can be quite, and there's loads of obviously awful stories in the media about young girls who unfortunately severely sad. It's kind of things to be done. I think things are changing, aren't they, now? But and in the fitness industry, Jesus, it's like there's like, my Instagram feed sometimes, you just like, who is this that's following me now? It's like, who are you? It's like barely clothed, and and all sorts, out there.
And this, there's I see this now. There's this reach for the stars sort of mentality where, oh, you must have like this many thousands of followers, and you must only be following like 2 people. Like, unless your name's Freddie Mercury, you've got no right to be that cool. Do you know what I mean? Like, people believe in their own. Yeah, people believe in their own hype. Like, who are you and what have you achieved? If you think success is 3,000 followers on Instagram, then you're living in an absolute bubble. I heard Kanye West talking, actually, and he was actually talking a bit of sense, and he was saying he would like to see Instagram remove the whole followers thing, so it couldn't be publicly viewed, because people now are getting judged, especially kids in school, on followers to unfollowers, and it's like, it should be like something that you can see as the account holder, but no one else can view it, because it's not about how many people who's following you, it's about the content that you put out. And let that be its own sort of
speak for itself sort of thing.
Speak for itself. And God, I get followed by people, and then they're just selling stuff like constantly all the time. And I'll talk about it. There's one woman, and she is a woman. I've had to unfollow her because every single post was face mask this and fat loss tablets that, and I'm wearing this branded t-shirt from so and so. It's like, if I want to see an advert, I'll put the TV on. Like, I know in businesses we are trying to sell our products, but you sell yourself, and by selling yourself, naturally people will, it's a jab hook sort of mentality. Do you know what I mean? Give, sell, not just sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I know.
And sort of young girls and young boys are impressionable, aren't they? If they see someone like, oh wow, like size 6 or whatever, and oh, I've got to look like this and I've got to look like that, and it's like you said, it's unrealistic, because go and try and train 6 days a week and have a full life and without a meal sort of prepper.
Exactly.
You're not going to get the same results, and it's what you were saying about the fitness industry. It's so driven about results more than this is what I looked like before. Now this is what I look like now. But what about
the before and afters?
Everyone goes mental. What's your take on before and afters? What's your whole thing with that? Where's that come from?
I think that it actually came from, I was listening to a podcast about this a few weeks ago.
Oh, right.
And it actually came from a company in the 80s, and somebody who started posting people's transformations, and it actually came from quite a good place.
Yeah.
And I think you can use them in a really motivational way for people, as a tool to track progress, because we're so obsessed by how much we weigh on the scales still.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you could take a photograph of somebody from day 1, and then a photograph on day, say for example, day 90, and they may look completely different but weigh the same, or weigh even more, because of their muscle mass and because of their body composition changing. And I think it depends on the individual. Some people find them really, really motivating, and others don't. And it's just down to that personal preference and what motivates people. And it's a really individual thing. And it's kind of, for me, some of my clients, I've done before and afters, and one of them, he's actually, he won't mind me saying this, this guy called Ray, and he's 70. And I did his before and after, because his posture was terrible. And he was really hunched over, and actually his after photograph, just even in the space of 30 days, his shoulders were pulled back and he was standing taller, and he just looked so much better, and in those instances I think it's a really useful tool, but I just think it depends on how you use it. And I'm not into plastering my clients all over Instagram and Facebook in their bikinis. That's just not how I roll. That's not me. I'm into it for the long term, to get people fit for life and to help people to kind of change the perception of themselves, make them love themselves again, and just get them confident, and so sometimes there's a time and a place for before and afters, and it's like it just depends on the individual. It really does.
That makes sense as well, because I think as well you've got to understand that in life some years you might be heavier than other years, and some years you might, whatever's going on in your life at the time depends on sort of. And I think if you've got these awesome before and afters, you can sort of look at one of your afters and think, a year ago I used to look like that. Now it can sort of demotivate you a little bit, can't you? And
totally.
Like I've got no issue. Like when I see people on them before afters and they look $1,000,000, I think fair play, because the dedication that goes into it is next level.
Absolutely.
What's your take on sort of there's like a lot of online coaches now, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? People are starting the big like online sort of sort of dieting communities, aren't there?
Online PTs and dieting, or so I mean there's a lot of online coaching going on, and I think again it's down to the individual and depending on what kind of individual you are. So if are you talking about online nutrition or online actual
I used that guy from Sunderland, Richie Howie, and for sort of about about a year I was proper hook, line and sinkered. But realistically, he wasn't selling anything new. He was selling what everyone's always been selling, which is eat less and do more. But he packaged it in a way that made people think, oh my God, he's got the golden ticket. Well, all he had really, he had a great persona. And like something that, like, if you like that style, you're like, oh, I like the community, I like the videos. But then when you sort of figure it out yourself, like, hang on a minute, eat less, do more, right? It's
but
just
by the same token, it worked for you, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, no.
So it's
whatever.
It's kind of one of those, really, if it works. And if you kind of, it's like because so many people struggle with nutrition, less so than fitness. I think it's more so than fitness. And it's kind of, and obviously with social media, it's everywhere. And and it is that the plus side of social media is that you can get you can get some good information if you know that your sources are good. But I think with your online coaching, either with nutrition or fitness, it's just going to sound like a cop-out, but it depends on the individual and what you need. And if you're the kind of person, and I know you're very self-disciplined, so if someone says to you, right, do this and you'll get this result, you'll go and do it. And you don't question it. Whereas another person might say, oh, right, okay, so you're telling me to do that. Oh, I might just do it this way, and I might just change that. And I think I'll have a cheat day, and I'm going to cheat this, and it doesn't work because they're not being held accountable enough. So it really depends on the individual, and it depends on what motivates you, and it depends on why you can't reach your goals in the first place. It's great for some and not so great for others. Some people need that one-to-one contact, and and I'm like that with my coaching and things. I need, like, Steve's my coach for kettlebells, and I need someone to tell me what to do, and I need that kind of I need to be able to have a conversation because it goes in better for me. I'm not the kind of person that could probably do online coaching as in be online coached. I could do it, so
it makes sense. You're right, that particular program, it did work for me, and it got the job done, and it sort of gave me a little bit more knowledge sort of into food, which will sort of bring me into this. Why has everything got the word protein in front of it these days? Like, where this is it's gone crazy, hasn't it? Everything is protein. Like, protein bread, protein milk. Like, I even saw protein milk, and I was like, well, I'm sure that had protein in the first place. So it's, and I think you pay a lot more.
You do. I think the thing with protein is, I always advise people, where possible, always get your protein and fats and everything else from real food sources. But protein has been hyped by big companies. You've got My Protein, and there's so many different USN. There's loads of different companies. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and also they've jumped onto the fact that obviously if you have a high protein diet and you are training, then you will, there are some benefits to increasing your protein. But I think what a lot of people miss is that a lot of people don't need that extra protein because they're not training enough. So your protein intake obviously increases the more active that you are. If you're sat at a desk all day and your baby's going for a walk, then you don't need 4 protein shakes a day, and you don't need high protein, and you can get it from your food. But it's that kind of, it really is that sort of big sell from the big companies, isn't it? And I always say to people, get what you can get from your diet. And if you've got a gap in the day, a gap in the end of the day, and you think, actually, do you know what, I'm not going to fit it all in today. I'm rushing around. I'm really busy. I need to, I'm going to have a shake because I'm on the road and I'm on the way to work or whatever else. Then then go for it. And I think there's a time and a place. But to rely on them completely is you're missing out on all the other benefits of just having a good healthy diet with real food. I mean, it's everyone's jumped on the bandwagon now, and they've really it's because the fitness industry is growing massively as well. So the rate of the industry is growing, and then so obviously you get the supplement industry growing with it, as more and more people want a quick fix. So they think that if they have more protein, then they're going to wake up like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's it's not really going to happen like that. And with your 4 protein Bix.
Protein Bix, like the grenade stuff, they've really got great marketing, haven't they? Like all the grenade carb killer bars and all that. And to be
carb killers,
to be fair,
they taste really good.
they taste really, really good. Probably too good, and they've branding wise, they've absolutely knocked it out of the park. So they must be absolutely raking in, because they even sell them in corner shops now. Do you know what I mean? This is how mainstream protein bars have gone. You can get them in garages now, and it's crazy. I wonder where we'll be in sort of another year's time. I always feel like in the fitness industry, 1 minute it's Sean T's Insanity, then it's
I forgot about him.
exactly. What's the next? Are you privy to what's next? What's the next big, like, I'm doing Insanity, or I'm doing T95, or what's the next big thing coming?
Do you know what I used to be? But now I've kind of moved away from that, and I'm working more on sort of strength and conditioning and kettlebells. I don't really kind of follow that mainstream sort of gym side of things anymore. I remember the last time I looked, you had those, the boogie bounce, which was the mini trampolines. You had the, you know, I think it's probably all been done, hasn't it? Do you remember as well? Did you ever see those ones? They were like, do you know, they were like, you strapped them to your feet and you bounced around on them.
Tiggers. They're
Is
like
it Kangoo hops or something? Yeah. Honestly, it's like, whatever next. It was Oliver Pistorius ran with, wasn't it? Do you remember the sprinter, the South African guy? He had them. It was like those. So there was classes, you could do classes with those on your feet. But I think a lot of people now as well are moving more towards actual proper, you know, resistance training with weights, and as well, which I'm glad to say, more women as well, because and more people who are sort of over, say, 50 and 60, and I think it's really important for those populations to get involved in that. And I think, you know, and it's nice to see now that a lot of women are embracing that and lifting heavy weights and reaping the rewards of it as well. Because for so long people used to come into the gym to me and say, oh, you know, I don't want to lift heavy weights, I don't want to get big and bulky, you know. And it's just that re-education of actually, you know, it's really, it's actually, you know, it's a good thing, and weights are great, and understanding where that's come from, but also re-educating women and older people as well, you know, the benefits of squatting and actually just getting into weights, you know. And I've got a couple who are sort of 60 in the 60s and 70s who have just started training. Oh, you know, and it's my dog. Hey, Missy.
The dog's coming.
The dog's coming. But yeah, so and it's just getting that across to people. But I do think that there's a big movement and a big shift now towards more traditional kind of getting back into the gym with weights and away from the kind of faddy crazes. Yeah. Maybe that's just the circles that I'm moving in now, but I certainly don't see as much of that on sort of my Instagram and Facebook feed. It's certainly much more about the kind of, you know, strength and conditioning and that side of things, which is great.
Yeah, no,
it's much more interesting.
Yeah, definitely, it's loads more interesting. I'm sort of keen to ask you about. Obviously, we went on an adventure a few weeks back in probably in probably, let's just say, inclement weather conditions. How did your fitness hold up on it? Like, was that the furthest you'd ever mooched before? And how did you feel afterwards the next day? You know, at the time, did it feel like it was the longest thing you'd ever done, or overall experience, what would you say?
I really enjoyed it. I think, as you know, and I said on the day, I did really enjoy it. I think it was the longest I've ever walked. Probably. Or ran. To be honest, I've only ever run half marathons. So it was. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was tough. And I think my fitness was fine, definitely. The only thing that went for me was towards the end, my hands were going numb from holding the kettlebell. So I couldn't actually feel my fingers. And I was really annoyed because I didn't want to hand the bells over, but actually I had to because I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. So that was a bit annoying. But my fitness held up absolutely. I was fine. And I think I was tired when I got home. I had a really long Epsom salt bath and a curry and a glass of wine and fell asleep. And then I felt okay. I was all right. And then I did have a little niggle on my knee. I don't know what I've done, but a bit of inflammation on my knee, which appeared about 3 days afterwards, which I think was just kind of just purely just wear and tear. But apart from that, it was fine.
People always like a lot. Well, not, you obviously didn't, and you're probably the exception here. But a lot of people, they underestimate it when they come out, and then sort of halfway through the day, I look at them and they have like this look on the face of like, when is this going to end?
When's this going to end?
Because I'm absolutely hanging out, and obviously, being like, I'm sort of more hill fit now. Like, I just have another level, like where I can just absolutely go to town, because I'm always doing it. And obviously, my body's just gone, okay, we're doing this again, and you do.
Yeah, that's it.
You do get used to like a certain sort of fitness, don't you? So I'm totally used to it now.
It's the SAID principle in fitness: specific adaptation to imposed demands. And so your body will adapt to whatever it is that you're that demand that you're imposing upon it. And it's just like anything. It's like it's like me with the weight training, so you are used to those hills now. Your body is adapted, and you're able to handle that. So and it's like anything, isn't it? It's the same with if you were swimming, or if you were playing tennis or whatever. So it's that the hills were brutal.
Don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your body can deal with it. But those hills were pretty brutal. But I enjoyed them in a sick kind of way.
They do make you accountable, don't they? Like they do sort of get you puffing, and you think, "Oh wow, am I as fit as I think I am?" And Danielle and Joe are both coming on Saturday to do
Helvellyn. I can't make that. I'm on a course, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have come. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's a cracker. And what they don't realise and what they've signed up for is Helvellyn is always the mountain that I unleash the microwave on, and the microwave is 10 minutes of absolute max effort on probably one of the steepest parts of the mountain. And because you've sort of been sat in a car having a Costa and a chat and a giggle, then you get out the car and we just go for it straight away out the bat. So your body's sort of like, what is going on here? And it almost feels like it just feels awful. But I really enjoy it, and I just hope they all enjoy it on Saturday. Probably after the 10 minutes is finished. But
those two will really enjoy that.
Yeah, and as well, there might be a bit of into gym rivalry, because there's 3 girls coming from Paragon as well. So I'm going to make that clear. Yeah.
Yes. Brilliant.
I'll make that clear that we're in a shootout. So,
I don't think. Do you know how competitive Joe and Danielle are?
I know exactly how. Yeah, and I know. And the thing is, there's the girls that are coming from Paragon. It's almost like they must have been separated from an early age, because they are ultra competitive as well. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm not coming. I'm really gutted. I'm not going to be there. Oh no.
And there's another guy coming called Tom Cockrell, and he goes to Mark Higgins, the Fit Boss. Works out over in Faverdale. He trains there. So I'm going to sort of get them all together, and I'm going to say, well. it's time to see.
Brilliant.
But the weather looks stunning, so it's going to be a cracking route. But I thought sort of Danielle and Joe on the day, like they really, everyone put a shift in, but there was sort of people who sort of really took it in the stride, you know what I mean? And I felt like saying, I think we've got another 25 mile in us, if I'm honest. And we just got. Can
you imagine?
There might have been a mutiny.
I reckon. There was no might about it.
The taxis were booked. So no,
it was a good day though. It was good.
And obviously you did it for a good cause, and if you want to say what the cause was and how much you raised and what you've done with the funds.
Yeah, we're still getting, so the money's still coming in. So but we've basically Steve and Simon have bought some kettlebells which were specially made from America.
Oh, amazing.
Which were for all the kids. So because the traditional small the little kettlebells that you can get, the sort of 2s and the 4s and the 6s that we had before, where the weight distribution wasn't right on them, and they were also very they were small. So this is kind of like a happy medium between the adult size kettlebells and the small ones. So they look amazing. So they came about 2 weeks ago, and so the kids have all been using those, and we took them to a competition last week. It was brilliant. They've just, and then we've taken them into schools as well since then. So raised, I think, I don't know the exact figure, but I think it's probably over £2,000.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so very grateful for everybody that supported us, because obviously it was a tough day, but really worthy cause.
Yeah, is that just from GoFundMe's and stuff like that? Is that where it's come from? Just public friends and family? Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so really, really well, yeah. So, and like I say, there's still money coming in. So Rochi, who you know, he's raised a lot of money for us. So really grateful for that as well. But yeah, everybody's done really well on the fundraising side of things. So yeah, extremely grateful through that.
I've got a funny Rochi story, but I'll have to tell you face to face.
All right, okay.
What a character. When I saw him sort of towards the end sitting on the floor, I was like, welcome to the big game, Mr. Roch.
Yeah, I know. Bless him, yeah, he didn't have struggle towards, he struggled.
Yeah, but yeah, do you know what? He's a great character for the gym, and anyone from Dartland. Yeah. There's not many people that don't know him. Certainly, no, yeah, he's certainly a big character.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Gonna sort of start to wrap it up, Charlotte. And I'm gonna finish with the 5 watts. It's how I end the show every single week. So,
right.
So the first one, what's the greatest advice you've been given?
So this is really hard. This is, isn't it? Okay, but I've had a good think, and I think what some of the best advice I've actually been given is my wise little sister. Okay. And she's, because I'm a bit of an overthinker. Well, I'm a massive overthinker, and she's always said to me, and it's also come from my dad a little bit as well, but basically not to stress over things that you can't control, and to focus on the now. So focus on what's going on right now. Don't stress about what you can't control, and don't dwell on the past and have no regrets. Awesome. And I think that's really important, because you can overthink things. You can go, I should have done this and I should have done that, and I'm one for beating myself up all the time. So she told me that a few years ago, and I really do try and live by that. She practices mindfulness, and so it's very much about living in the now. And it really does help me if I'm getting a bit stressed out. It's like, you can't control that, so don't stress about it. So just focus on the things that you can control. Yeah. So that's. But I think that's probably the best. Yeah, the best sort of that I live by. I've had lots of good advice over the years, but that's probably one that I do try and live by day to day.
Awesome. Second, what's on your bucket list?
There's so much.
Either personal or business, whichever one you want to choose.
So there's a sporting one which I still haven't been done yet. There's 3 sporting ones. I want to go to the Olympics. I still haven't done that, and I want to go and see the athletics at the Olympics. Yeah, I've always wanted to do that since I was a kid. I want to do a skydive, but I really don't.
Well, it's. So I do. I'll just jump in there. We're planning one at the end of September. Let's just say yes.
Oh no. Oh shit! Why did I say that? Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. Swearing's okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. So so skydiving and the Olympics, I suppose, from a sporting perspective, which I thought was more apt. There's loads more, but
yeah, right. Well, September.
Oh no! I'm away. I'm away. Yeah. I'm sure I'm going away.
Well, we'll see. What's your toughest day? As in either personal, business, or just something that sticks in your mind?
I've had a recent one which people might be a bit surprised about back in January, and I literally wanted to jack it all in. Oh, I was really? I just had enough. And it's me as my sort of self-doubt. I don't know, a lot of the people who I've spoken to about it since suffer from it, and people who you probably wouldn't think, but it's that when you're running your own business, you don't have anyone to answer to. Yeah. So it's sometimes very difficult to know if you're doing the right thing. And I think I just questioned and questioned and questioned. It's like, is this going to work? And I had one day where I was that close to just jacking it all in. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I didn't, and it was a real turning point for me, actually. And ever since then, I've actually become a lot more positive, and I've got myself a business coach, and it's kind of, and it's all really positive. But I think I had to reach rock bottom in that point to kind of get to where I am now, if you know what I mean. Wow, and it was only good. January, but yeah. Yeah, so that's the toughest recent.
Fair play. Next one. What's your happiest day?
It's really hard. I suppose it's a real cliche, but having my 2 kids is definitely up there. Yeah, and I'm sure everyone says that, don't they?
Yeah, everyone says that. So that's the personal side. What about business side, or something else that springs to mind?
So business-wise, I suppose, you know, in the last year or so, I've had some really good days. One of the happiest days really was when I passed my level 4 strength and conditioning, because I thought I wasn't going to.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I absolutely had convinced myself I wasn't going to pass it.
Right.
So when I passed, I was absolutely, it was like the biggest weight had been lifted off my shoulders, because I really thought I wasn't going to pass it.
Wow.
So yeah, last year, that's definitely a highlight.
Fair play. And the final one, what's next for yourself?
Darlow domination.
Well, fair play.
Yeah. So really, I mean, my next, as I mentioned before, I've got a business coach now, and I'm really driving the business forward. And I see kind of like this year has been a real key turning point for me in terms of just getting to more women, helping more women. It's really about, for me now, it's about helping as many people, many women as I can to get strong, get healthy, and get empowered. Not just about the quick fix, not just about a bikini body in 6 weeks. I mean, in it for the long term. So for me, massive driving force now is just to help as many women as I can, and to really kind of drive that forward over the next sort of year or so.
Brilliant. That's awesome, Charlotte. Just
cool.
sort of finishing off, where can people find you? Social media, where's the gym?
So,
contact details.
So social media, it's on Instagram, it's at charlotte.welton. On Facebook, it's Charlotte Welton Fitness Coach. Email charlotte.welton1974@gmail.com. I've got a website, charlotte.welton.co.uk.
Awesome.
No, it's just charlotte.co.uk. Just Google me, I do come up, I think. And I'm at Tunova, which is on Barton Street, just on Albert Hill.
I'll post the links as well.
Sorry, you cut out there, John.
Sorry. I'll post the links. I'll post the links below on the page.
Right.
And I think it's getting on. So thanks very much for coming on. It's been great chatting to you, and I'll see you around about in the big town of Darton. Brilliant. Thanks very much, Charlotte.
The metropolis. Thanks,
see you there, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.